Jeb Bush. We got to talk about Jeb Bush. Honestly, if you go back and listen to what I was saying about the potential Republican candidates a while back, I was saying Jeb Bush, not terribly concerned about him because he's so rusty. And here we're starting to see some examples of it. For some reason, Jeb Bush has got it in his mind that the Iraq war was a good idea, and he's not letting go of it. Now, I know what that reason is. He is one of the OG neocons. People forget when the first Project for a New American Century document was released, Jeb Bush's name was on it, not George's. Jeb. And Jeb's got to fire this thing back up a little bit, even though, I mean, he's walking a tightrope, right? Because there's a little bit of a strain. It's not as intense as it used to be. There's sort of the war lust. But he's got, I don't know, he's got Ted Cruz out there. He's got Marco Rubio out there talking big on being basically a neocon. Santorum is, I guess, a little bit, but Lindsey Graham is out there squawking about it. And remember, Marco Rubio has that billionaire, I think it was car dealer, and Sheldon Adelson's out there. Those guys are very, very much Israel war hawks. Sheldon Adelson wanted to bomb Iran, right? Nuke Iran.
It would be in the desert. And it wouldn't harm a soul.
Oh, right.
It would just be a message.
It's like a little warning shot. A shot across the bow.
I think that's literally what he said.
So here's Jeb Bush. Well, I'm going to just... Jeb Bush is at apparently a college in Reno, Nevada. No, he's in a town hall style meeting in Reno, Nevada. And a 19-year-old college student, Ivy Zidrick, was asking a question. She identified herself as a political science major and a college Democrat at the University of Nevada. She had heard Jeb Bush, argue a few moments before that America's retreat from the Middle East under President Obama had contributed to the growing power of the Islamic State. And she said, not quite. Quote, it was when 30,000 individuals who were part of the Iraqi military were forced out. She's talking about depacification. Had no employment, they had no income, and they were left with access to all the same arms and weapons. It's amazing that this 19-year-old has far more sophistication about what happened in Iraq than, I would say, 90% of our media. She added, your brother created ISIS to Jeb Bush. And then, of course, Mr. Bush interjected, all right, is that a question? Which is a surefire way. I mean, it's basically crying and saying well, that's not fair. That's a comment. I'm at this town hall, only take your questions. And so then Ms. Zedrick, this 19-year-old woman, says, you don't need to be pedantic with me, sir. And he says, pedantic, wow. Jeb's not used to hearing that kind of language. And then she went on to say, why are you saying that ISIS was created by us not having a presence in the Middle East when it's pointless wars where we send young Americans to die for the idea of American exceptionalism? Why are you spouting nationalist rhetoric to get us involved in more wars? Jeb, of course, knowing the power of his argument, said, we respectfully disagree. We have a disagreement. When we left Iraq, security had been arranged. Now, this is a lie. Al-Qaeda had been taken out. There was a fragile system which could have been brought up to eliminate sectarian violence. I don't know what that system he's talking about is. And he goes on to say, we had an agreement that the president could have signed that would have kept 10,000 troops, less than we have in Korea, that could have created the stability that would have allowed Iraq to progress. The result was the opposite occurred. Immediately that void was filled. The reality is is that that agreement did not include any, what's the word I'm looking for? American soldiers would have been subjected to Iraqi laws, which is not a situation that any American president has ever put Americans into. I think maybe we have that in Japan.
Why we don't support the ICC?
And so that agreement was never going to be signed. There was no indemnification. That's the word I'm looking for. So Jeb went on to say, look, you can rewrite history all you want, but the simple fact is that we are in a much more unstable place because America pulled back. Mr. Bush turned away. The conversation was over.